Hi, I'm Beck. I love books, and I am back today with a little tier list for you. I took a little bit of a break from doing YouTube and BookTube because I burnt myself out with work and Pridopoly. Who's surprised? Something had to give, and so I took a few weeks away, went on holiday, had a lovely time, and now I'm back with lots of creative ideas. I thought I would ease myself in with something quite simple, and so I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of a tier list today based on some popular BookTok books. I've added a few in of my own that I've seen on BookTok. And generally, this is a list you can find on Tier List Maker. I'll pop the link in the description box below if you want to share what your tier list of these books would be. Just a disclaimer, as always, everybody's reading opinions are completely different. If they weren't, then we wouldn't have such a wonderful variety of books published every year. If I do not like a book that you love, it is not personal, I promise. You will probably love lots of books that I don't love. Just feel like always have to say things like that because some people do get quite upset sometimes if you don't like a book that they love. And I understand. Readers are passionate people. So I've separated these books into different categories. I have brain-alteringly good, very good, decent, not revolutionary, meh, tragic, and then I have couldn't even finish it, so DNF'd, that's did not finish if you're not familiar. Then I have on my TBR, so it's a book that I'm wanting to or open to reading, and then not on TBR, the ultimate, I'm not even interested in reading this book. I feel like that will cover everything, but as we go through, if there's anything that isn't covered, I guess we'll find out. So I'm just going to start in the order that the books are given to us here on the tier list. The first one is Six of Crows. Six of Crows took me a long time to read, actually. I think it took me almost a month to read. But I'm going to put it up in the... it's between the brain-altering and very good. I think I'm going to put it in very good. It is very, very good, and I did really like it. But Crooked Kingdom, which is also here, which is the second one, I feel like that one destroyed me. I think that one actually altered my brain, whereas Six of Crows is just very good. Very good is a big compliment. So, maybe a controversial take to begin with, but that's where we are. Red Queen is next, and I also think Red Queen is very good. If you like the plot of Powerless, which is coming next, you will love the plot of Red Queen because they're exactly the same. Then we have Divergent. I have never read the Divergent series. I feel like it was a sort of blip in my reading journey. When the books were popular, I wasn't really reading. There was a time when I first became sort of visually impaired when I stopped reading paper books. I didn't have a Kindle. And so I don't know if I'll ever read them. I don't have plans to read them. If you think it's something that I absolutely should read, let me know. I haven't seen the film or anything. So they're not currently on my TBR. But if you feel like it's something, a staple that I'm missing from my life, then I could add them. So next we have The Cruel Prince, etc. So I thought The Cruel Prince was a bit meh. And I thought The Wicked King was decent. And I thought The Queen of Nothing was a bit meh. I think it was like 2 was the peak and 3 went back down to being okay. There's nothing wrong with any of them. I just think that there are better examples of that. Then we have Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. The series are not always together as we go through this, so it might get a little bit split, divided, but that's okay. So Divine Rivals, I would say, is very good. I think it is very good. Ruthless Vows, I didn't enjoy as much. I feel like that was decent. I feel like Divine Rivals was the better of the two. Books have this thing that I don't like, where if the plot kind of descends into chaos to solve the plot, I don't really like it. And that might be a common theme as we go through. You never know. So then we have Powerless and Reckless here. This must have been an older tier list because they only have Powerless and Reckless. But I can talk about the next book as well. So Powerless, I would say, it's decent. As I said, it's nothing revolutionary. It's decent. Reckless was meh. Reckless was meh. But I would say the third book that has just come out in that series If that is the correct terms. There's the novella, which is also meh, but then there's a third book that's just come out, and I would say that third book is genuinely tragic. It's genuinely not good. Genuinely not good. Very sorry for fans of this series. Then we have Heartless by Marissa Mayer. I can't remember if that's on my TBR or not. I'm going to put it on TBR. I haven't read it. Then we have this book here, and I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. It's got dominoes on it. So I'm going to put it not on TBR because it's not a cover I recognise. It might be a book that I've read. It might not be. I don't know, honestly. So then we have Powerful. That's the novella that I was talking about. Also meh. The novella didn't give me any reason to care about the characters in their own right. I feel like it was it could have been something special, but it just kind of wasn't. I'm very sorry. Right, now we have these ones. Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm. I don't particularly want to give these much time. I would say Fourth Wing was decent, Iron Flame was meh, and Onyx Storm was meh. We've got Red Queen again. We'll put that not on TBR because we've already read it and we've already tier listed it. There's a couple of duplicates here. Okay, City of Brass. I don't think the rest of the City of Brass series are here, which is a travesty. That's something that maybe I will have to amend. As I said, I just added a few pictures to an existing tier list. So City of Brass is absolutely brain-altering. All 3 books in that series are exceptional brain-altering books. Then we have To Kill a Kingdom. I would say To Kill a Kingdom is decent again. It's not going to set the world on fire. It was quite fun. Decent. Then we have all 3 of the Poppy War trilogy. So I would say absolutely all of these are brain-altering. I read the 3rd one and just sobbed for half an hour afterwards. Please check content warnings, particularly for the 1st book, because there are some quite severe things that happen in the 1st book. In all of them, but the 1st book particularly, it comes out of left field. Okay. Then we have Circe. I think Circe was very good. I don't think it was brain-altering. I think it was very good. Serpent and Dove is next. Serpent and Dove was decent. I quite enjoyed it. But the thing is, the issue that I have if you have like an enemies to lovers story where they're real enemies, is if by the end of the book that is resolved, which may be the case for this book, what reason do you have to continue reading the series? I don't know if that's just a me thing. If anyone else feels like that, please let me know if you do. But so Pride of the Orange Tree is up in brain altering. Absolutely. I don't know if A Day of Fallen Night is in here. I will have. Oh, it is. I can see it. I can see it. We'll just, you know what? We'll just swoop A Day of Fallen Night right now up into the brain altering. I feel like they altered my brain more. And then I feel like City of Brass is next. And then Poppy War. And then Burning Goddess next. I feel like that's the correct order for the brain altering. I won't bother with the other ones, but I feel like that is the correct order for brain altering. So Crier's War is on my TBR. Have not read it. I also haven't read Addie LaRue. I've heard mixed things about whether people think I would like it or not. So I guess the jury's out. Legendborn, I think, is very good. I wouldn't say it was brain altering, but I have only read the 1st one. The series perhaps grows. Prison Healer, I thought was absolutely exceptional. I think about Prison Healer all the time. Such a good series, such a good book. Really, really spectacular. I think Prison Healer is another one that appears again later on. So then we have A Touch of Darkness. What is the plot in that book, really? I didn't really see much plot in that book, to be honest with you. So A Touch of Darkness was not for me. Better Than the Movies, I haven't read, and it's not on my TBR. Verity, not interested in Colleen Hoover, and not on my TBR. Bloodmarked is on my TBR, haven't read it. Once Upon a Broken Heart. I actually think Once Upon a Broken Heart was decent. I think The Ballad of Never After was very good, and I think the True Love one, the 3rd one, whichever it is, 2 and 3, these 2 were very good, and Once Upon a Broken Heart was quite good. But I think the series built and got better as it went on. I quite like the whimsical writing that Stephanie Garber has. It does appeal to me, and I think that's maybe why I like them more than other people. So, Stolen Heir, Prisoner's Throne, etc. I do have them. They're not actively on my TBR. I haven't read them. I do have them. Then we have Night Circus. I have no interest in reading Night Circus because the Starless Sea I found so angering. It made me very, very angry, the Starless Sea. And so I haven't reached back into Morgenstein's writing. So then we have ACOTAR. No, not ACOTAR. Through the Glass. ACOTAR's later. I don't want to give these books more airtime than they already have. I've only read a couple of them. I feel like this one was decent. I read this one was also decent. I DNF'd this one. And then these ones are not on my TBR. None of the rest of them. I've got no interest in reading the rest of the series. I have to check to see what has happened with the screen dimensions now to see if you can still see the whole tier list. Oh, you can. Good. I think. Yeah, you can. Perfect. Right. No, don't scroll down. That'll ruin everything. So, next then we have, this is the selection. Checking you can still see. Yeah. I think the selection was alright. It was fine. Then we have more Colleen Hoover. I DNF'd It Ends With Us. And It Starts With Us is not on my TBR. So The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This, I think, is quite a controversial one. Lots of people love this book. It's their favourite book that they've ever read. I thought it was alright. Didn't think there was anything particularly revolutionary or special about it. I thought it was quite predictable, but a lot of people didn't find it predictable. So I'm very sorry if you love that book. For me, it was okay. It wasn't anything particularly astounding. Then we have Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Again, that was fine. It was decent. I didn't read Good Girl, Bad Blood, and I don't think I ever will. So that's also another not on TBR. And same with this one. As Good as Dead. Then we have the 700 Shatchame Books next. So, Shatchame was okay. It was decent. No, this is definitely when you're not going to be able to see the pictures anymore. Hold on. I will unzoom my screen a little bit, and then you'll be able to see it fine. Hopefully that will work okay. Hopefully. That seems to be okay. Okay. So the Shatchame books, that one was decent. And then Unravel Me, I think, was also decent. And then I think Ignite Me was meh. And then after that, everything else genuinely was just a bit tragic, in my opinion. When you're reading the book and you cannot wait for the novella that comes after the book so that you get a different person's point of view, then there's something wrong with the book. I read all of them. They were really easy reading. The story, in theory, was great. And towards the end, the story took a huge turn. But the narrative of it was just not good by the end. I think we lost the original thought behind it, perhaps. The original vibe of it was lost a little bit, and that made me a little sad, I think. Made me a little sad. Okay, then we have King of Scars and we have Rule of Wolves. I also loved these books. Really loved them. Not quite as much as the original duology that I read. I'm going to put them up in very good. Then we have Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin Rising. I think it's Ruin. Might not be. They're okay. I think they're decent. You have to read them to get the setup for the next books. That's like, they're decent. You have to read them. But there's nothing spectacular about them, I wouldn't say. Okay, then we have the Inheritance Games. I thought the first Inheritance Games book was very good, actually. I thought it was very good. And then the Hawthorne Legacy and the third one, which may not be here, it was fine. It was fine. I think they went downhill as they went on. Then we have From Blood and Ash. And now I haven't read the second From Blood and Ash book, but the first From Blood and Ash book I thought was quite good. I wouldn't say it was very good. I would say maybe decent. It was quite good. There was quite a lot of tension there. Okay, then we have 3 more gigantic SJM books. I have no interest in these 2 being on my TBR, but I did read this first one and I thought it was decent. I thought it was decent, but I thought it was very confusing. I remember being so confused for so much of it. I had to keep a gigantic notebook of notes of like who characters were and everything. It was a lot. It was a lot. Okay, so now we have Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. I feel like Caraval started quite promisingly. It was like a bit meh for me. It started at meh, and then I feel like Legendary and Finale just went down to tragic. And I really like the other, like the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I really like the writer's writing. There's just something about the Caraval series that just feels really. It's like there wasn't really a story, so they made it up as they went along. And one of my really good friends loves the series. It is one of her favorite series of all time, if not her favorite of all time. And I totally understand what she sees in it, and I feel really bad, but I can't vibe with it. I just don't vibe with it. Okay, then we have Percy Jackson. I have never read Percy Jackson. It's not on my TBR. If you think it should be, let me know. Song of Achilles, I thought was very good. I don't think Song of Achilles was absolutely brain-alteringly good. I think I read a lot of queer fiction anyway, and I feel like a lot of the general appeal of it was that it was that little bit different for a lot of readers. It is emotional and it is a really good narrative, but it didn't set the world on fire for me, if that makes sense. But it was very good. Oh, we've come to ACOTAR. Right. So, the first ACOTAR book, I would say, is not even good. Meh. And then we have Mr. Fury and Frost and Wings and all that. So this one, I think this second book is very good, actually. The second book is very good. I'm going to have to check if you can see everything again, because everything keeps moving. I'll have to see if I can unzoom one more time. And this is when my visual impairment comes to the forefront and I won't be able to see the actual books that I am tier listing for you. Frost and Starlight, absolutely tragic. I DNF Frost and Starlight, I think. That's the Christmas special, right? Wings and Ruin, meh. Honestly, by the time we got to Wings and Ruin, I was so done. I was just so done. And then Silver Flames, I would say also quite meh. I think I gave them 3 stars. So let's move on from that. So now we have, these are some of the popular BookTok books that I have added now. But there are some that I didn't notice that were there. So we don't need to do Prison Healer or Shadow and Bone because we've already done them. Silver Elite. Right. I actually think Silver Elite was quite decent. It wasn't revolutionary, but it was really fun. And if that was written by AI, we're all in trouble. Can I just say we're all in trouble? Then we have Heavenly Bodies. I actually DNF'd Heavenly Bodies. I couldn't get on board with the absolutely minuscule chapters, and there was no reason that I could see for me to like either character. I did it in one of my Fairy Loot Trials videos, and I DNF'd it. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Then we have Belladonna. Belladonna for me was meh. I didn't like it. I didn't like the main character. I didn't like the plot of it. It wasn't for me, and I didn't finish the series for that reason. So we have Serpent in the Wings of Night. I'm going to go along and see if I can grab Serpent in the Wings of Night over here, because that should be first. I actually think Serpent in the Wings of Night is very good. I feel like that series, that book in particular, is very good. The second book, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, I feel like that's decent. But Serpent in the Wings of Night and the Wings of Night itself is very good, in my opinion. And the novella, Six Scorched Roses, is absolutely sensational. I'm going to put Six Scorched Roses up into brain altering. For some reason, the novella that comes in between those 2 books is better than the duology itself. Don't know why, just is. So then we have Kingdom of the Wicked. I think Kingdom of the Wicked actually is decent. Not revolutionary, but decent. I've read the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. They're all decent. And then there is the sort of spin-off series that the writer is doing. Throne of the Fallen, etc. I quite liked Throne of the Fallen. I actually thought it was very good, very clever, very witty, lots of slow burn. And so I'm going to put Throne of the Fallen up into very good there. So this is another book of the Armentrout. Is that her name? The Blood and Ash series. I haven't read this one unless it's the same one as we've got there. There we go. So we don't have to put that one up. So then we've got Bridge Kingdom. I think Bridge Kingdom actually is quite good. It's quite creative. I would say that I really, really enjoyed it. It was quite a quick read. I think there's 4 books in the series now, and the next one is a tandem read and stuff. My friend Gaz was saying to me, I think that the Bridge Kingdom actually was very good for me. Sorry if you didn't like it. Next, we've got Phantasma. Meh. I was thinking about maybe putting this in decent, not revolutionary, but actually, I think that it was mostly meh. Everything was convoluted. There were 700 words for the word red. My friend Lizzie was reading it kind of at the same time as me, and she was like, "Oh, crimson, maroon." Like it was just a lot. And I think that it has a beautiful cover, and I think that it has a bit of a shadow daddy feature, and I think that is why it has skyrocketed in popularity. We're getting to the end now, so we have Bride next. I thought Bride was actually decent. I thought it was good fun. I thought Bride was decent. Then we have Quicksilver. Quicksilver I'm going to put into decent as well. Now, this is very funny because the actual world of Quicksilver, the fantasy world of Quicksilver, I would say is very good. It's very creative, it's very unique. But the love interests, the main characters, the relationship is absolutely tragic. There's no actual build. There's no reason for them to like each other. I don't know. It goes too fast. I have no stakes in it. But if they had dragged the romance back a little bit, the world is actually quite good. So that's why I'm in between the two. So very good fantasy elements, meh romance elements for me for Quicksilver. Then we have One Dark Window. I thought One Dark Window was really unique. I'm going to put it up here if you can see into very good. I thought One Dark Window was really unique. I wouldn't say it was never necessarily revolutionary, but I think it's slightly better than decent. Really quite creative. So we have Night in the Moth. That is on my TBR. I haven't read it yet. I do have it, but I haven't read it. We have Trial of the Sun Queen. Trial of the Sun Queen took me by surprise. The series, this book in particular, I would say is decent. It's not revolutionary. But there are a couple of books in the series that go up into the very good bracket. If you haven't read Trial of the Sun Queen, that sort of Artifacts of Oranos or whatever it's called series, it's actually quite good. I didn't expect it to be quite as enjoyable as it was. So then we have the Hurricane Wars. The Hurricane Wars I'm going to put down into meh. I would say 80% of the book was a trudge, a real trudge. But I think I got it as an arc, so I really wanted to try and read it. And then the last 20% of the book was like, suddenly there were stakes in the relationship and it was interesting. I almost DNF'd the book very, very, loads of times. And that's why I haven't read the second one as well. We have A Fate Inked in Blood here. I haven't read that. That is on my TBR. I do have it. This is A Taste of Darkness, I think. A Touch of Darkness. That's the Persephone one, which I've already got here, A Touch of Darkness. And then we have Guild by Raven Kennedy. I don't know if I've already put Guild on, but I'm going to tier list Guild anyway. Oh no, not on TBR. I've read Guild, and the first book is decent. The second and third books, I think, go up into very good. I haven't read anything apart from the first 3 books. So, of these books here, this is how I would rank them. You can see my brain-altering list is probably quite small. if all of the City of Brass were there, and if a couple of the other books I've read this year that haven't really been BookTok popular were there, it would be very different. And you can see what I've put, where I've put them. So what I really want to know is there anything here that you think I have absolutely ranked in the wrong place? Obviously, kindly and politely. I'm so happy that you have loved some of these books that I have not loved. Genuinely so happy. And let me know. I hope you've enjoyed this chaotic look into my brain and into my reading tastes. If there's anything else that you would like to see me do a bit of a chatty tier list about, let me know. I could do one with queer books I've read this year. I could do one with all of my 5-star reads. I might do that anyway. I think that might be quite interesting. Next week, I'm going to be back with a fairy loot video. So I have chosen 10 books off my shelves. I'm going to be reading one chapter of each and then getting rid of one in a thing called the Fairy Loot Trials. So that'll be exciting to hopefully find some new favourites and get some books off my shelves. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please consider subscribing and I'll see you next week. Bye!